Yo, what's up guys, it's Anarchy and welcome back to a brand new season of Together We Design, the video series all about graphic design created by designers for designers. This season we're going to be moving away from the basics and we're going to get more into the nitty gritty of Photoshop. We're going to be teaching you how to do stuff and all that cool other stuff. But for today's episode, I'm going to hit you with my top 5 overall tips as a designer. So let's get right into it. My first tip is going to be always have a plan. Now I mean the term plan like extremely loosely because a lot of times when it comes to graphics, you're not really going to have a plan per se, but something might just pop into your head and you run with it. I, for one, plan things out by drawing what I'm going to do in either MS Paint, or personally, I use sticky notes a lot, as we're going to talk about a little bit later. Some of my greatest pieces were doodled at first, so I didn't forget them, and I could freely mess around with stuff before I did it. Tip number 2 is going to be to stay organized. I know organization can be hard for some people, whether you're neurodivergent and it's a little rough to do so, or you might just be lazy, which is also understandable because I felt like that before. But both online and offline, it's good to have a clean and organized space where you can do your best work. It's also good to have to-do lists or a planner if you can keep something like that together. I personally can't, to keep yourself on track, and also to remind yourself of things you want to do or things that you need to do. My personal preference is, like I said earlier, sticky notes. I have tons of sticky notes all over my setup with things ranging from ideas I want to execute to design work or homework that I need to get working on. Otherwise, it's also great to have your files organized on your desktop or in File Explorer. I went through that phase of naming stuff keyboard smashes, and trust me, I'm never doing it again. Tip number 3 is going to be to balance your time out appropriately. This sort of thing is related to our episode that we did on burnout in season 1, but it's good to balance your time when it comes to designing and doing other stuff. The grind is really important, but also if you do something so much all the time, eventually it's going to make it so it gets tiring. So you've got to intertwine that with doing other things you enjoy so it doesn't end up that way in the first place. Personally, I do weeks where I primarily focus on one thing, so I sort of have a one-track mind. If I'm doing graphics for this week, for example, I'm going to do graphics for fun during my free time, like posters, headers, and wallpapers. If I decide I'm going to play video games this week, I'm playing video games and I'm going to focus on whatever game it is that I'm playing until I finish it or until I decide to do something else. This way for me, I get less tired of doing stuff because I switch it up often. Tip number 4 is going to be to always try new things, and this applies to a lot of stuff within art and graphic design. This could apply to whether you make the same kind of graphic all the time or do the same style, or this could even apply to the subject matter for which you do art. For esports, this could be like whether you do the same game all the time or whatever it is that you do. Try some new stuff. Variety is key. Say you make only Twitter headers. For variety, maybe try making a poster or a wallpaper or vice versa if it's the opposite. Another example could be, say you usually do Overwatch stuff and perhaps you're interested in other esports as well or regular sports. Try doing a piece that's unrelated to what you mainly designed for. I recently did a wallpaper for the Florida Mutineers and it was really refreshing and fun to do something that was not Overwatch related for once in a while. Like I said earlier, variety is key and it will reflect better on you if you have a diverse portfolio, and it'll also make you be a better artist for knowing how to do more than just one thing specifically. And last but not least, tip number 5 is going to be to be yourself. Do not let anyone completely change how you do things, what you make, and how you handle yourself. Express your graphics in the way that you want and the styles that you like. Don't do stuff just because it's popular, do stuff because you want to do it. Following trends might get you more likes, but if that's not what speaks to you, then don't do it. The best kind of designers are the ones that are themselves and create the art that they like. Alright, so that's going to be all for today's episode of Together We Design. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and my tips that I had for you guys. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more fun and exciting Triumph content. Thank you, and goodbye.